Hello, I'm Elizabeth Montez with Open Arms. I am an internationally board certified lactation consultant and the community education and lactation clinical lead for Open Arms. And I'm really excited to be sharing some information about how we are going to be offering lactation education for birth workers and aspiring birth workers coming up in 2024. One of the main parts that we're trying to do with this program is make lactation education more accessible and more centered in the incredibly wise and important ancestral traditions of our communities of color. Um, as we know, it's so important that folks are provided accurate, exceptional, compassionate lactation care by people who know what the heck they're talking about and also understand them as people. And so that is really where all of the work that we do in providing community-based lactation services, as well as providing community-based lactation education really starts from. And so this program, it has developed over the last couple of years with really the goal of providing access to education by removing the financial barriers that exist for many of the courses that are out there, as well as having it really rooted in cultural congruence, relevance, and understanding. So we have, I'll be the main teacher. So I teach from the perspective of someone who is Indigenous and Latina descent, but I also bring in other teachers, other guest teachers to be speaking from their lived experience from different cultural identities and communities, as well as different lived experiences to make sure that we're representing all of those experiences really well and giving a really deep understanding of how to work with each other in a way that is really good and helpful. And so this year, what we're doing is we're providing the 95 hours of education first, and then that rolls into the opportunity to join a mentorship cohort so that folks who are interested in becoming IBCLCs or being able to access other lactation professional or other jobs in the lactation profession, whether in hospitals or private practice, can gain more education and experience in that. So we're starting with 95 hours of education. And then after that, if you want to continue, then there is the option to get shadow shifts and ultimately then primary shifts doing lactation lounges, getting mentorship support as you are caring for your clients. So folks who are doulas, who are supporting people in their prenatal and postpartum phase, and are talking about lactation, then we can, we provide the mentorship so that you can learn and grow those skills as well. But this right now is just the standalone part where we'll be starting with the education. It is hybrid, so we start with an in-person portion. So the first week we'll be doing in-person, then we'll have a series of weeks where we do online Zoom classes, and then we'll wrap up in person as well. So yeah, just kind of did a quick summary of that. Like I said, the idea is to provide the education and the skills. And then if you want to use that to, to kind of roll that into an IBCLC credential or another credential or, whatever that looks like for you, we're here to support that, but also it doesn't have to be about achieving that credential or getting those letters. So if you are wanting to just start here with some information and support and growing your skills, that is beautiful. And that is exactly what we're here to support as well. So however you see your journey in learning lactation, education, and skills, however you see that unfolding is absolutely wonderful. So there is no obligation to be on a path to become an IBCLC. The only expectation and the requirements are that you do come from a community of color, that you identify as a person of color or a person of culture from is because some of us from Indigenous cultures may not identify as a person of color, but it must be folks from communities of our focus communities, so Black, Indigenous to the Americas, or Latine. That includes Pacific Islander and in the Indigenous category. And you need to live or work in Pierce, King, and Snohomish County. We are very grateful to be funded by 2 funders this year. So we have been able to expand to accept some folks from outside of King County. So we are our primary funding is through Best Starts for Kids, which is King County only. And so for a long time, we had to restrict access to only folks in King County. But we have received additional funding that will cover applicants from Pierce County as well as Snohomish County. And we do ask that you're able to come to the in-person portions. That is super, super important. So we do ask that if you apply, that you are committing to being there for a minimum of the in-person week at the beginning and the in-person week at the end, and ideally shooting for at least 80% attendance in the middle live. Those will be recorded so you can catch up, but we do find that all of us, man, it's hard to keep up with those Zoom classes, right? So when we get behind 1, we can make it up. When we get behind 2, we can usually make it up. Get behind 3, it starts getting real hard. So, being realistic, looking at the schedule, is that something you can commit to? It is 95 hours, so it's a pretty significant time commitment. It is also a significant value. So, most 95-hour courses out there run about $1,000. And right now, we can't offset the cost of time to attend. But, our really big hope is that removing the financial barrier that exists between communities and accessing that lactation education, hopefully that is helpful enough to make it be doable. And we do provide food, meals, breakfast, and lunch at the in-person portions of the day. And we can also help facilitate carpooling if necessary for folks who are coming from a little bit further away. We will have our meetings in Seattle. So we'll have, like I said, the first week and the last week will be in Seattle. And then after that, we'll be on Zoom, or in between that, we'll be on Zoom. And you don't have to have current or previous experience in lactation or birth work. There are questions on the application about if you have that. That's just so we get a sense of where you're at and gives us an idea of, how to best support folks, but it's not required. We will want to know what is bringing you to this work and what is interesting to you, where you want to go with it. And there's no really wrong answers. Everyone is brought in a different way and wants to go somewhere else with it. You also don't have to be wanting to do something as a career with this. There is so much value in learning skills and information to support your community that doesn't always look like a job. It doesn't always look like, a financial exchange. It can look like, hey, I am the eldest and I didn't have kids. And so, but now as my younger siblings are having kids, or I'm an auntie, or I'm a matriarch, or I am a grandparent, or I am just a friend, someone who is a caretaker of my friends and loved ones and community, and I want to be able to support in this. That's wonderful. That is so necessary. I say all the time that the fulfillment of the dreams I have would be if this stopped being a career at some point, because people were so well held in community. So, it doesn't have to be about a job. And in fact, I think we do our best work when we're not looking at this as a job. We're looking at it as a community care. So those important dates. So today is the day we're releasing the application. We're sharing information about it, and we're going to put the application out there. And so you can put your application in. Right now, we are doing the informational session. And we'll do another informational session on January 10th if you want to come and ask questions, if you, things are popping up as you're going through the application or looking at the information. So that would be wonderful. That will also be on Zoom January 10th at 1 p.m. Pacific time. We are collecting all applications by January 22nd at 5 p.m. Pacific time. And then from the 22nd through the 29th, we'll be evaluating all of them, picking people, ideally. There's not like a percentage or anything. We're going to pick people based on making sure that all the criteria are met, that you're from the focus community, that you are able to commit to that time frame, that you are wanting to support community. But it's not about weeding people out or anything. If we got 1,000 applications, probably we would have to weed some folks out. But we would love if we get all applications from folks who meet those criteria, and we're able to have you join us. If it's the right time for you. So then we'll be notifying people on January 29th, and then we'll get started in March. So that time commitment, like I was talking about, is here. So this is the main thing to me, is I want to make sure that we all get started together and that we create and form a relationship with each other, because that's really vital in this work, and coming to it from a community perspective, as opposed to some of the other, other ways that folks may come to it, is us being grounded in supporting each other, caring for each other, seeing each other as our relatives. So super important. Week 1 is going to be March 4th through 8th. And we're going to have Monday and Tuesday in person. That's going to be our welcome and introduction modules, and then also our counseling and communication modules, so that we can really get that connection together, those relationships together. On Wednesday and Thursday of that week, we're going to be hosting an IBCLC clinic. It's where myself and some other IBCLCs will be providing community care. We'll be scheduling appointments, and then having folks be able to access no-cost appointments. And we'll give you the opportunity to shadow with us. And so those will be like a sign-up, so you don't have to be available all day, but just whatever you are able to sign up for in 2-hour increments. And then on that Friday, we'll have a 9 to 11 debrief, check-in, little like wrap up, and dreamscaping and all of that. So, and then the following week will be March 18th through 22nd, and that will be moving into the online portion. So what we'll be doing is, through this whole time period, there will be the option of joining us in Lactation Lounge to shadow. And we'll have folks sign up so that it's not, like 25 people shadowing and like one person dropping in for support. So, we'll have, we'll have like 2 spots for shadowing, and then other spot, everyone else will drop in for lactation support as needed. So that will be every Monday. Those will be, there will be an opportunity for those. Then we'll have Zoom class on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and they have some varying times based on what the schedule is, the topics. And then it just kind of goes on like that. So, like I said, every Monday there will be Lactation Lounge opportunities. And then, I can't see what time it's being covered by my little banner here. There we go. Moving it. Okay. So, you can see the times there for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and you can see it's not every week. So what I tried to do was do 2 or 3 weeks out of the month. Actually, I think I was aiming for 2. Yes. So we have 2 weeks per month other than March, because we're getting started in March. And then we have 2 weeks in April. I lied. 3 weeks. So there's 3 weeks in March, 3 weeks in April, and 1 week in May. And we did our best to place these weeks around things like most of the school spring breaks and trying to avoid any major holidays, and to have it done before kids get out of school, so that sometimes that makes it hard to commit to activities when we have a lot of then we have to get additional daycare and things like that. So those are the important dates. And then right here are the dates for applications and for getting things in, when we're going to notify folks. So all of that. And then the other thing I wanted to show you all was the application. So this will be the application that is available, and I'm going to publish that link. So it's pretty easy. Sorry, my cats were making noises. So we do need your full name, your email address so we can contact you, phone number. So just a reminder that this is available for folks who serve BIPOC communities in King, Pierce, and Snohomish County. And so we want to check in and hear from you where you live or work, where you're connected to. And while this does say funded by BSK, we are actually funded by 2 grants. So we have been able to expand our reach. I will adjust that. And so we are asking which community you're connected to make sure that we are serving the communities that we have committed to. If you have an organization or affiliation, we'd love to hear about it, just so we can, make sure to stay connected to our partners, and find out who all is out there, which is great, but you don't have to have an organization or affiliation. Again, same with your current role with birthing people. If your current role with birthing people is you gave birth once 25 years ago, that's totally fine. And if your connection to birth is that you never gave birth, that's okay. Where, if your connection with birth is that you were born once 20 years ago, 40 years ago, 80 years ago, that's okay too. Again, we just want to know a little bit more about you. Again, also, whatever your primary goals are, okay. When I made this, I thought that the other would be a fill-in, and I believe it's not. So I think there's a part, I will make sure to add a fill in the blank where you can add some more explanation. So yeah, we just kind of want to know mostly what is important to you, what's going to be helpful to you, and tried to come up with some of those options. But if I missed anything, that's okay. Wherever you are, whatever brought you here is wonderful. There we go. There's the short answers. And it's also okay if you are not comfortable sharing your name or image or testimonial, but if you are, it can be helpful. And we, of course, would ask you before we shared any information. And this has no bearing on whether folks are accepted or not accepted. I am so sorry. Hold on one quick second. Okay. And then the big biggie, for your sake, for our sake, for everybody's sake, huge, please really look at those dates. Really take a moment to think about if that's going to work for you and for your life. And if you are able to join us, that you would be able to commit to making the in-person days, as well as, shooting for a goal of 80% of the Zoom classes. Obviously, we understand that people get sick, things happen, there's childcare issues, life happens. But if you know that you have something every morning from 10 to noon and you can't miss it, and you're going to miss every day, then it's probably not going to be a good fit right now. And we'll find something hopefully someday that does work. And in this, you can also click to get to the document with the links to the sessions, and then I'll add the link. Well, if you're watching this, then you're already watching the video. So you'll have a link to this video, the dates, as well as information about what we will be, what we'll be learning, kind of just an overview of what will be coming. So, all right. That's the basics. My email is on there. I will also put the email of our administrator, Brittany, on there so that if you have any questions, you can reach out to us. And we look forward to getting lots of applications and having lots of people learning together this year. All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.